Lynne suggested I came to it. I live out in Derbyshire, so I don't live in Nottingham. She said there's an exhibition on that's all about the stuff that we did in our two-woman show.
It was called The Cage Bird Sings, and we used Still I Rise, the Maya Angelou, at the end so that the audience could participate in that. And it was all concerning women's issues and feeling trapped.
Yeah, and material about captivity and freedom. So we, and very, very much from a woman's perspective, I suppose. And so we descended into the depths through captivity, didn't we? Ended up in a very grim place in the middle of the piece.
Yes.
And then sort of rose out through freedom and finished with the Maya Angelou poem. And Lynne's a singer, so she was singing relevant pieces, and I was reading extracts, performing short pieces.
And there's such a wealth, because I started with Handel, and The Cage Bird Sings, She's Only a Bird in a Gilded Cage. And then through Jason Robert Brown, and more contemporary pieces, Just a Housewife, and that Stud's Turtle, some interviews that he did, and put the whole thing together, and we did a mini tour with it.
Yeah.
Did it in France and all over around the country. This space is just wonderful, and I've been to openings of exhibitions here when it first opened. But I think we've been together before.
Yeah, we've been once before,
yes.
I think, yeah.
But this, having seen the title, it just really caught our imagination again.
And there's some interesting new material to me as well, that some of it's familiar and some of it's new and a bit unexpected. And particularly things like the pictures of the women in the Paris Commune, because I've lived in France for 14 years until fairly recently. So I've seen material in exhibitions in Paris about the Commune and things like that, but I've never seen the postcards that were made of the women, the contemporary postcards there. I've never seen the women's perspective put like that before, and it's very nice to see it displayed in such an accessible format as well. I love the sort of arched display cases, and works really well.
And it's
sort of leads you around the
keeping up with the pronouns and how LGBTQ, all of this is moving on, and having been around when we had Green on Common and so on, and radical walking tours in New York that I've been on, I think it's important to just be aware of how the women's movement and women's equality with Women's Equality Party and so on's moving on.
And I was involved with the Women Against Pit Closures movement, because I was living in Sheffield at the time, and was on the miners' marches.